Alrighty, hosses, welcome back. And in this video, now that we have everything set up, I want to go ahead and show you guys a really basic example. And the most basic example I can think of is just displaying some text on the screen. So this is going to be the dumbest React project ever, but we'll get the basics out of the way taken care of. So the way that this is going to work is whenever you make something in React, whenever you make a website or an application, you're going to use React to essentially generate some HTML. Now, usually this is going to be generated by, doing something fancy like connecting to a database or some API, like getting a list of users and then generating everyone's profile picture or username or something. But for now, what we're going to do is we're just going to throw some, like a heading 1 or heading 2 in there. And essentially, whenever it generates this HTML, we need somewhere to stick it. So we're going to say, all right, this is the code we're generating with React. Where are we going to put it on our website? So I'm going to go ahead and make a div. And by the way, if you're using a JetBrains IDE, if you just write div or any tag name and hit tab, then it's kind of a shortcut, fills the rest out for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and give this an ID of example. And all this is it's basically a target for later on whenever we write our React down here. It's going to generate a bunch of HTML and we're going to say just stick it inside example. So it's pretty much a container, just normal HTML. So now we can actually start writing our React code. So I'm going to go ahead and make a script tag. Now by default, this is just normal JavaScript. That's what the browser is going to see. But remember, I said that we aren't going to write plain old vanilla JavaScript. What we are going to do is we're actually going to be writing something called JSX. It's a special type of JavaScript that allows us to use HTML syntax in it, and it makes it really easy to program. So what we actually need to do is we need to add an attribute right here and say text Babel. And if I say Babel sometimes, that's actually because there's a kid in my class named Andy Babel. And before I learned Babel, I don't know, that's kind of what I see in here. So again, if I say Babel, it's actually Babel. But anyways, inside here, what's going to happen is we're going to type JSX. And since we have this script, this is actually the Babel transpiler. It's basically a translator that's going to take anything in between here and translate it to normal JavaScript so our browser doesn't freak out. All right, guys, so for this example, I'm going to be showing you guys one line of code, and we'll just go ahead and run this and make sure that everything is working properly. So from React DOM, call one method called render. Now, eventually, whenever I talk to you guys about components, which are essentially just part of your website, then this is really how you use the render method. But for right now, I'll explain it like this. Basically, what render does is it takes a bit of HTML and it throws it into a target. In other words, wherever you want to display it. Now, since we really only have one place where we can target, we'll just go ahead and use this as a target. So the first parameter, again, like I said, is just some HTML. So this can be whatever, single tag that you want. I'm just going to go ahead and make a heading 1. And I'm going to go ahead and close it. And in between here, I'll just write, hi, my name is Bucky. Just like that. Actually, let me just write Bucky. Make sure I'm not running out of room. So this is our HTML, and right now this is basically our React component. If you don't know what a component is, don't worry about it yet. So the next parameter, and the only other one it takes, is where are we going to display this? Well, we need to say this div right up here. So how do we do that? Well, if you just write document dot get elements by ID, it allows us to throw in the ID of an element, which is example, and it's going to go ahead and return a reference to this element right here. So all we're doing is we're saying, all right, take this code, which is a simple heading, and throw it into this div right there. So now if I refresh this page, check it out. Now, if I look at my source code, I don't know if you guys can see this, it might be a little bit small, but we basically have our heading 1 thrown right up into here. And of course we can change this to a heading 2, and we can write like bacon or whatever we want. And it's going to take whatever this code is, and it's going to stick it right in between our target. as we can see right there. So that's the very basics of React. Now again, if we didn't include this line of code right here, then watch what happens whenever we try to run this. Actually, let me print out my console. It's going to say, whoa, whoa, what the heck is this? You see, it's freaking out because this isn't actually JavaScript. This is JSX. And again, it's just a lot easier whenever we can write HTML in our JavaScript. So that's why we need to include this to translate it to regular JavaScript. So yeah, there you go. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.